rigorous reviews of the assets on their own separately. But we plan at the Naval Dockyard tomorrow to actually have them out on display, and folks can walk through them and get a chance to see them.
And you say folks from where? Folks from the industry? Folks
well, it starts with the industry. Those are the folks that need it. So,
okay, so
but everybody else,
Nigerians like me can also walk in to have a look at what's actually on display.
Sure. Absolutely.
You are invited to come.
Okay, now let's quickly wrap this up. Now, going forward, what steps can be made to improve the sector despite the challenges? We know that there are so many, including the fact that we need active government participation, but then we're also looking at more of collaborating with the private sector to see how we can address these challenges. So going forward, what can be done to put this sector where it should be?
I think the NCDB have done very well, and I must give them that credit with the Ministry of Personal Resources. But the truth of the matter is that some of these shortcuts should be taken care of. I give you the major challenge is finance. Very challenging.
Even for the upstream sector, when you see the MSMEs are complaining about finance, people in the upstream oil and gas sector are also complaining of finance.
Because if I'm going to buy an asset for $80 million, and you are giving me 23%, the return on investment is terrible. I will just as going to the US and Exim Bank 2%, and that makes life easy. So yes, money is being domiciled, but how many companies have actually accessed that money today in the oil and gas sector? So it has to do with Nigerians coming together to syndicate and to move the economy forward. And my recommendation would be companies need to syndicate, banks also need to syndicate, because I'll tell you what, there's some level of investment. I mean, we have some challenge. A vessel new bid for 2014, maybe 250-ton crane with a large vessel. One bank cannot syndicate that fund.
And probably not one company should, yeah.
So if we have 4 or 5 companies coming together, 5 banks syndicating, then we should have a platform. And again, I think the IOC should do something that is being, when I was in the North Sea, it reduces cost, reduces risk. You can have a major asset like these are vessels and say ExxonMobil, Chevron, Total, Ajib have a combined charter agreement. That way, the vessel will do a lot of work, low risk and low portfolio asset. And people want to play in this industry, but it's very, very challenging. And we also feel that there is need for companies to come together to achieve that purpose, because it's killing, the interest rate is killing.
So who should be doing this, and who should be encouraging companies now to come together? Because
government, the regulatory policy is government. They must make it very stringent to say, you know what, this is what we want to do. Come up with a plan. They have a plan.
But you see, the government always tells you that they've come up with these policies, and a lot of times players like yourself always complain that these policies are too strict.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think enforcement of it is a start, where when you have a Cabotage Act that requires that a Nigerian flagged vessel or Nigerian owned asset should get right of first refusal to participate in a job if you're qualified. But it's really not been totally enforced yet. That is a driver for more participation. So
implementation is still a challenge.
It's a work in progress. That's what I would like to. I like to look at the upside. But on collaboration, I mean, we've had some success in finding local companies that are interested in working with us. They've seen this vessel come in and said, what can we do to work together? And we'll take that to the next step and say maybe we invest together in a larger assets. It's done quite well in Norway. It's done in the US, where you find a couple of companies share the risk, make the investment, and put the vessels to work. So those opportunities would continue to exist, but I think people just have to step into it, which we've had to do. And the government plays their role, the private sector plays its role, and I think we'll be okay.
We're looking at ongoing policies that we have in the industry, like the PIB and all of that. Does it still also affect, how the business grows?
It will. When it passes. It will. Until then, Stay tuned, I guess.
But Barry, you're getting very safe, but you're taking a safe stance, and it's not a problem actually.
Sure.
And these vessels that you brought in, you were talking about capacity building. Are we looking at seeing what a large, well, maybe not so much of the youths getting employed, but how much on a scale of 0 to 50% are we going to see of youths, employed? Not the youths, the age bracket is between 25 and probably to 40. So, because we know that the federal government is really, really trying to arrest, unemployment situation.
There's going to be a lot. I'll tell you what. Apart from the fact that we want to get people to work on this asset, we've set up a training school. Let government and the IOC come together. Let us train most people on this subsea, because each time we bring in expatriates, the capital is very high, or even we as businessmen, we pay so much.
Especially for security too.
Exactly. And that's inform us to get in one of our security patrol bulletproof to support our operation. So you begin to see that it's a lot. If we turn out, for example, 500 youths, okay, it's 20 to 40 years, and say we want to train them on subsea deep operation for saturation and air diving, you will see that these youths will not just get job, they will be very, very paid, highly paid. And I will tell you, one of our missions is to export manpower. They're going to be working in Malaysia, the Saipem 3000. Those guys are
also, you're not even just going to employ them to keep them here. You're also going to...
Exactly. They're able to tell the expatriates there in Norway that we Nigerians can do better than you. Nigerians are very smart people. I'll give you an example. The Bayelsans can swim very well. And if we begin to train them on how to deploy ROV, to deploy some other thing underwater, life is even easy. 45% of the problem is solved because they are used to the water. So after that training, we export them to different parts of the world to work. They have a very high hope. And that's what we're talking about. Not just getting Nigerians to come and work here. Because once you are certified as an IMCAT diver, you can work anywhere in the world. In fact, there are some projects we look for divers. There are no divers available to do this job.
So that's where the job would come from. I mean, and the future of the industry is really, the petrol workers would come from this region. And really a lot of the work that exists now is in the Gulf of Guinea, Nigeria. And so if we train and keep people here, I think there'll be work for them in the near future.
Very good prospect. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the program today. I've been speaking with Barry Ademola, the Managing Director and CEO of CNS Marine Nigeria Limited, and Lucky Akiwo, the Country Director of CNS Marine Nigeria Limited. Thank you both for coming on the program today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that's Business Morning today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbinyi.
It opens with a gate of art, moves into windows of creativity.
She finds the only English word she knows from somewhere hidden in the belly of a 4'9" body, and instead of "I won't care," she greets us with "bye bye."
Branches into rooms of color, and ends with a roof of imagination. Walk into Art House. The pieces all come together at 9:30 p.m. every Saturday. Art House, life is art.
At first, it's only anticipation that something